Alrighty, so today I'm going to be fixing an issue I've had for a very long time, which is the fact that my Volkswagen's heater doesn't really get hot. It gets warm, and the air comes out of every single vent in the dash no matter what. When I did the heater core, I did not tape up the blend doors inside the dash. So, if you can guess where this is going, the whole dash has to come out today. I've done this before. It's not that bad. But it is annoying, so figured, you know, with annoyance comes an opportunity to make a video. First thing, make sure your steering wheel is on straight, because it's gonna come off, and it would suck to have to put it back on and realize it was not straight. Next step, break part of your clamshell getting it out. So for the headlight switch, there's a tab right in here. Push in on it with your finger while pulling out on the headlight switch and it'll come right out. This guy just has clips. It just pops out. Same with this guy. If you go gentle at it. There we go. I can get behind and get the electrical connector. So with the seat heater switch taken out, normally there'd be a little screw right here, but clearly I lost it last time I did this. So this is the only screw that holds the gauge cluster bezel in, which will allow us to get the gauge cluster out, which will help with getting the rest of the dash out. And then for the gauge cluster itself, we have a screw right here. Let's see. Yeah, you can sort of see it right there. And then one right on the other side, right there. All right, so here's the two wiring clips of the gauge cluster. They're just two squeeze tabs on both sides. Gauge cluster is a little bit annoying to get out. You basically have to wiggle it up and then pivot it out. Kind of takes two hands, so that's why you didn't see me do it. These vents, each one of these vents all hides a screw. So one right here, and one right here. To get these vents out, they just pull straight out. They'll snap out. All right, so if you don't have your radio tool, you should have enough radio wiring to just slide this forward enough to unplug it. This faceplate just pulls off. Helps if you have a little flathead or ideally a trim remover tool. So then you have 4 screws around this. This doesn't actually come off. What this does is this allows this to detach itself from the actual dash and just sit in there, if that makes sense. After that, we got some screws down here that'll help take out this, and we also have to detach all of these switches, or at least unhook them. All right, so with all the screws removed, this can just kind of push inside, and this is now free. All right, so that's got all that out. That sits like that. Yeah, you don't actually have to pull all the switches off, although you can. Everything unclips. The OBD2 port's a little annoying because you have to push in on all 3 of these tabs to get it to slide out. Rear part of the console's out of the way. There are 2 screws right about here and here, so you have to move the seats all the way forward. They attach right about in here, and then there, if you have a trunk popper, there is a wiring harness for that. To get part of the center console off, shift boot has to come off, the knob just unscrews, and then this base part just unclips. You have 2 plastic nuts right here. I believe they're 10s. Okay, so yeah, it's just these 2 nuts, and then if you're not a jabroni, you'll have 2 little trim screws up front that hold the center console in. But if you are a jabroni like me and you've done this before, you don't need more. All right, so the glove box just has 1, 2, 3. They're all Phillips head screws, and then the whole thing comes off. All right, so with this vent removed, which is 2 Phillips head screws here and here, it gives you actually great access to the little dash tweeter if you have one. They're just 2 little electrical connectors that just squeeze and unclip. The lower knee pad has 4 8mm headed bolts right along the bottom, and then it has like two little clip things that clip in up at the top. So on the airbag cover, the bottom is 3 8mm headed bolts. The top are these 4 little things, and if you can see, it's basically a slotted hole. So once you get it unbolted, just push it sideways and it should just, you know, with a little wiggling, come out of its slot. Okay, so under the hood, it's the rain gutter up there. That has to come out. There's a bunch of these little guys, which they're really annoying to get out because they're plastic. And then once you get that off, way back in under here, there is one of these 10mm nuts. You're gonna need a deep headed socket. And then over here on the driver's side, there's 2, you can't really see them, but yeah, right in there, see those 2 studs? It really helps if you disconnect the wiper assembly, just to get things out. It helps a lot. So with all that, as you can see, dash is loose. So now I just gotta figure out how to get it out, and I'll report back with you. All right, so with the dash out, this is what you're looking at. And part we need to get to is right down in here. It's the heater blend doors. And yeah, wish me luck. All right, so here's what we're looking at. These are the blend doors. When you change the heat settings, they move. This is also the cold air / fresh air door. And as you can see, they've got big holes in them, and they have this leftover crap on them. What Volkswagen did is they put foam on the blend doors. They just cover them both sides in foam. I guess the holes in them were to help promote adhesion of said foam. But you know, after 20 years, foam deteriorates, so you're left with that. So we got the blend doors taped up. It's not the best job, but I mean, it's gonna be better than, you know, absolutely nothing. And I'm sure it'll help if I had, you know, the time, the space, and the ability to get these 2 stupid shear bolts out. I'd just take the entire heater box out and do it that way. But for now, we're gonna get the dash back together and see how it works. All right, so car's back together. And main thing, I can feel air coming out of there. Very little bleed through right here. Very little bleed through here, but you can feel it down here. With both these, definitely air coming out of here and down at the bottom. And then just face, obviously, still works. But the main thing is that it actually defrosts, and I'm gonna go take it around the block and see if when it warms up I get actual heat. So my heat works now, wonderfully so. It goes where it's supposed to, which is awesome. But because this car is a Volkswagen, now it's misfiring, and why do you do this to me, car? I throw money at you constantly.